And man, what an exciting match this is going to be, hey? We've got, oh, sorry, just getting a bit confused with the player camera. There we go. Down here in the bottom right side, in the red, it is none other than the Vietnamese wizard, the mastermind, the only man that beat Maru on his way to win 2018 WESG. It is MeomaikA. 2-0'd him with double hydrogen. Never forget.
Yep, MeomaikA was the king of that day. As in the top left, our blue Zerg player. It is going to be Silky, aggressive Chinese Zerg, who continues to come out with all sorts of wild stuff lately.
Yeah, some surviving against Honmono. Dude, I mean, that was just crazy. He lost like 30 drones to a Hellion run by and somehow came back in the final game of that series. So some real clutch play there. Now, basically, Silky, I think, will be a bit more reactive, is playing a bit more standard with a hatchery first, whereas MeomaikA is going for his pool first that he likes to do. Now, there's a few things. I feel like MeomaikA's been on a bit of a downswing recently. His MMR has dropped. He used to be like, you know, he'd go on these NA ladder sprees, and NA ladder was a bit more active then as well. I'd say there was more high-level players at that time, and he'd be like 70 wins, 1 loss. Like, he was just, you know, very scary in the Korean ladder as well. Lately, it feels like he's changed his builds up a bit, and some things he's still as confident as ever, but there are certain matchups like ZVZ where it feels like he used to always open up very heavy on queens, like 4 queens every game, and he was kind of immune to a lot of pressures, and he'd like walk queens across with certain attack timings. He's moved away from that, and it does feel a little bit more like it's if you have really good scouting, you can figure out what he's doing and counter it. So we'll see if Silky can do that. Definitely Meo maybe being slightly less confusing, I think, to his opponent's scouting than he used to be. It used to be very hard to read because you'd scout something and he'd do the complete opposite thing, realizing that you've scouted him and that you'd expect it. But we'll see how he comes out. I'm sure he's prepared heavily for these regionals, and I am always keen to see what special sauce he's bringing.
Yeah, there's almost always something kind of funky and fun going on. MeomaikA always has a fun set of builds, and let's see his few links showing up now. Shouldn't be able to do too much, although the links to Silky ran past, so these things get to go in the main base. Queens are not ready yet, and this is going to be drone in trouble here, Pick. I mean, we jumped in, 1 drone already hurting, now the drone's pulling general, but this is a lot of lost mining time for Silky. I mean, now we let you lose a drone and lost mining time. What a great set of 4 links. Just really causing trouble.
Yeah, maybe Silky not as familiar with Meo as he should be, because Meo does this every game. Pull first into 4 link pressure every game. Oh, and Silky's Overlord, he was so distracted, he loses an Overlord, throws a Roach Warren? Whoa, Silky, so MeomaikA does that in front. Silky's in a little bit of trouble now. Definitely not paying attention, and now having very limited map vision. Roach Ling aggression could come out of Meo very hard. Did Silky actually see the Roach Warren with his vision with the Lings, or did they go into the main first? I think he saw it. So, yeah, it looks like he did there. No, he didn't actually. Oh, my bad.
He didn't find it. It's a little unlucky, so it doesn't get that information, as we've got a lot of gas to spend on Roach's 2 links. We're about to finish, so we'll have a few more links popping as well. Minerals are going to be the hold pack on MeomaikA's Roach production. If he wants to build Roaches straight away, he gets 1 more Overlord readying up as well, and Silky, his own Roach Roaring coming down, getting ready very soon.
Massling coming out for Meo. The thing is, Silky's doing the same thing just slightly later. Silky just needs to go home. His Overlords have not been fixed. I don't know why Silky hasn't moved his Overlord further north, because he's playing very blind right now. He should be defending, not attacking, but he doesn't have the information to know that, and he's running into the Queens on the other side of the map. He loses 4 drones at home, and he sacrifices a lot of Zerglings, taking a bad fight into the Queens. He needs to basically, the thing is, he's got a worker advantage. If he just builds Roaches and Lings and defends, he's just ahead in this game. But he's got to realize what's happening. And Silky, after losing an Overlord, the most important thing in ZVZ is vision outside your opponent's base. And Silky's under so much panic playing against the oddness that is MeomaikA that he's not fixed his basics of vision. Like, luckily the Lings see what's coming, but he's losing a lot of Lings just to get that info. And you can tell he's feeling the heat. A lot of players struggle when they play Meo because it's such a different rhythm to your normal Zerg versus Zerg. He's going to have to stabilize, and he's got to do it soon. Silky is under pressure. He's got a 2-worker lead, but he's way down on army, and he desperately needs to buy time to get out more Roaches and Lings of his own.
Yep, we absolutely need that, as we have ourselves a Spine Crawler coming up, 5 more Roaches producing through. We have our Ling Roach arriving. I mean, army supply is getting closer, and MeomaikA looks at the front door and says, okay, I'm going to back away. I'm taking my 3rd base. So he's not going to commit through here at all. He's just going to fall back home. And MeomaikA will just say, okay, you know what? Fast 3rd base for me. His work count's dead even, so on we go.
Third base for both sides. Silky's down a few workers, though, a little bit behind in the momentum. I think as Silky, you want to move across the map here to the halfway point, feign like you're counter-attacking, but actually drone up behind it. He's actually saying, no, I'm just going to straight up mass units. Interesting. So I think Silky's basically hoping Meo will over-drone, tech up, and then he can go kill him with his own Ravager Link. And you know what? Meo's making an Evo, a gas, a lair, more drones. All of these things are fine as long as he stops droning and starts making army soon, which he has not started doing it. He sees a big army. There we go. Back to roaches for Meo. He needs to mass army now, realizing, whoa, that's a big force that Silky's building. He's got the Ling advantage, though. Oh, Silky, you cannot fight with less Zerglings. That looks like it's going to be potentially a third base snipe. Lots of Lings coming out, though, for Silky as well. Meo just leaves a few Lings attacking the hatchery. Good split of his units. Good angle for Silky, though. Silky does actually get the concave there. But as more Lings come over, Meo does get himself the cancel. Silky's kind of a little bit haphazardly engaged. Roaches do go in on the other side. It's an army supply lead from MeomaikA right now. If he can bring the Lings back and wrap around behind these, he should absolutely slay. Right now, his Roaches are a little outnumbered, but the Queens are helping out with Transfuse. And as the Lings come in from behind, there's no escape for these Roaches. MeomaikA putting this game in exactly where he wanted it to go. And Silky struggling to deal with that. From the early Zerglings arriving, it felt like Silky panicked a little bit. The Overlord went down on the other side, never replaced the vision, and then was just reeling and kind of surprised by all the different attacks. Once MeomaikA gets an inch, he'll take a mile. You cannot give him that sort of momentum early on, or he's an unstoppable force.
Yeah, no, this is yeah, no, MeomaikA just gets in your head, and if you give him an inch, he will take a mile. And Silky just never really mentally recovered, I feel like, from the very start of this game. Losing an Overlord, losing a drone pull against the Lings. He was just not ready at all. We've seen Silky be better than this in the past. But yeah, this was not exactly ideal. So we're going to hop on into game number 2. We are going to swap to Singapore server, which means we just got your server hop to the Americas.
Oh, okay,
Singapore is hosted,
cool.
so we will be on that. It just take us a couple of extra moments to get into this game number 2. That was a pretty swift game of ZVZ.
It's my favorite server, the Singapore server, man. That's what we used to have before the Australian server existed. The good old Southeast Asian server. Still has, I mean, it's actually crazy because I remember the ping used to be like 145 from Australia. And these days I have like, I don't know, 90, like 100 ping at most to it. It's really nice because whenever I'm playing against any of these guys in the Asian region, any of the Korean players, we get to play with nice low ping, really responsive. For Meo, he's in Vietnam. He's not far from Singapore at all. So he's got fantastic ping to Singapore. And it's going to be pretty good for Silky as well, of course. It's not like China's very far from Singapore geographically. I mean, compared to me, I mean, I feel like everything's right next door when it comes to my comparison, right? Living in Australia, like I think Singapore's next door for me, and it's solid 8-hour flight away. So it is a bit of a different perspective that I have. Yeah. I'm like, less than 200 ping? Oh, instant reaction. This is great.
Yeah. All right, we're going to head into this next game. Just a couple of moments while they get that figured out and get this hosted up. And yeah, we get ourselves into game number 2. MeomaikA with a 1-0 lead. Silky is obviously down. Needing to back this up. And again, to reiterate where we're at, these guys are all 0-1 in the group so far. So for them, it really is important because they want to be 1-1. That gives you a better chance going into week 3 and into Swiss round 3. So that's a big factor to think on as well.
So, yeah, definitely Meo showing what he's been doing on the ladder recently in Game 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he does something very similar in Game 2, but just trying to changes the timings up a little bit. The delayed third has always been Meo's weakness. He delays his third for an insane amount of time. I think one of the best openings against Meo is something where you really focus on just getting your natural saturated as early as possible. And then make enough units to be safe before taking a third. And that's kind of the two goals, which sound simple in ZVZ, but are very difficult when you're playing against him. And it's funny because I actually learned this from playing Meo, because I actually felt he was, like I said, scarier in this matchup 6 months to a year ago when he would saturate his natural faster than anybody else. While people were trying to rush third bases always versus him, and then he would kind of get you with the aggression while you're trying to drone up your third or defend it. Because he'd just have a bit of mineral advantage off of his kind of nice solid queen openings, and he'd try to push down any overlords he could. So I wouldn't mind. I think actually 15-15, normally not the greatest build unless you're planning to be very aggressive or defend someone who's highly aggressive in ZVZ. it's actually a perfect opening against Meo because you get your queens out early, you do drone both your bases up way quicker. You can have your natural saturated by about 3 minutes 10 as opposed to about 3:30 with a lot of the normal 16 hatchery openings. And that gives you a big advantage, especially if you're not planning to rush the third, which, as we said, is always a conundrum against Meo. You can do it, but it's awkward because you often want Banelings to make up for being a bit down on Zerglings. If you do that, you're very weak to his Roaches. We're going to be going into Ghost River for map 2 as well. A map where those bushes can explode across here very quickly. So I do wonder if Silky might try like a double Evo Roach Warren wall off, something to be like, I'm not playing the Zergling game. We're just going to wall off, try to get to 2 base Roaches with Roach speed, maybe slow the game down that way.
Yeah, no, it's such an aggressive map that, yeah, maybe you do just kind of play defensively in a way that's like, you take that phase out of the game and then you just sort of slowly build up, take that third a bit slow, but with a larger army so you don't have to worry so much about the aggression a lot of the time. So, just get ourselves ready to go into this. We have our couple of players join the lobby. Looks as though will be a moment or so to hop on in. And we're going to be going into game 2 of this in just a moment. MeomaikA is up 1-0 in this best of 3 again with server swap. It just takes a few extra moments to get ready. That's what is the current delay. Shouldn't be much longer. Looks as though the players are in the player slots right now. We're going to be good to go.
Game 2 and Game 3 on Singapore, so we won't need to hop servers after this game, assuming there is a Game 3. If Silky can win this one, Silky just needs to race up. I'll just remind him in there as well.
Yeah, he's at the
make
bathroom,
sure race okay. All right, cool. Mutalisks is something I haven't seen from Meo in a while. I would like to see Mutalisks personally. Not sure if this is the map for it though, but if they do get to map 3, we might talk more about that. Ghost River's bit too cramped, very dangerous trying to tech towards Mutalisks on such a small map, and we'll see how we go.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that'll actually matter for us at all.
Yeah, I don't think it matters either, but
that only matters for him because he's hosting.
If you host, you go back to the page you're on.
Yeah, a little bit of tech advice there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get
all right, we're getting some information.
Right,
we are finally good to go, so we should be able to jump into Ghost River here and get this all started up. It is going to be game number 2 of MeomaikA versus Silky. It is our last best of 3 of Asia. That's the last one for me and Pig. We're swapping casters after this. I believe it's Steadfast and Fear Dragon who are going to be coming through, so I'm going to be doing a little swap-a-roo on that one. And
yeah, they're boring in A region. Don't worry about those guys. If you're really bored, you can hang around for the C team players and casters to hop in, but it's okay after this series to just tune out. That's fine. Don't hang around. Those games, I mean, they're boring. You know, Straya, Scarlet, ugh, yuck.
Oh, we're gonna have boring here because we go straight into the pause on this game too. I imagine this is probably a hotkey thing, different server and stuff.
Hotkey issue.
So.
One of the settings is different.
Yeah,
it's like my classic one. Yeah, it's like, oh gosh, thumbnails have been being made on this computer. All my things are turned off to make it look nice. Hotkeys as well is always a fun one. You know, if you've made the mistake of using your multiplayer hotkey profile and then loading up like a campaign or an arcade game that uses campaign type hotkeys, and like you go back into multiplayer and you're like, everything is bound differently now. Oh my gosh. This is why I always use a different hotkey profile for campaign modes these days, but I do occasionally forget it messes things up. Silky should be good to go. And map 2 is about to be underway as we resume the game. Heck yeah, let's get into it. Already a bit of a rough start for the player in the top left. Needs to just be more careful with the overlords as well as build Zerglings to make sure you respect that pull first pressure in the top left side of the map. It's Silky.
And the 12 pool is down for our red Zerg in the upper right. Up 1-0, MeomaikA.
Heavy pressure opening. This is not the shortest rush distance in the map pool. I can't remember what it is, but it's one of the other maps. Maybe Crimson? Is it like a map that's surprisingly short that people don't think of as being that short? But it's more that like when you're both on 3 base, it's so quick to get across to each other on this map. But 12 pool's still effective. It can still absolutely catch your opponent off guard. And it's such a good pressure build. When your opponent looks a bit shaky like Silky did in game 1, sometimes you just lean on them. Like sometimes, you know, you beat like your friend in StarCraft. They go, why'd you pick this strategy? And you go, honestly, I just felt it would make you micro a lot. And I thought I could make you panic and make mistakes, and sometimes that's it. Meo just built a queen before he built his 5th and 6th lane. That was odd.
Yeah,
That was odd.
I saw him stop at 4, then the queen started. I was like, what? So yeah,
Maybe the lava was just half a second late. And normally you'd go hatchery before queen as well, though.
Yeah.
But when you go queen before hatchery, you can potentially deny the overlord because it comes out surprisingly quickly. And like it also freaks them out because they see no hatchery and they panic with the overlord gets here so quick on this map. So I think he's trying to scare Silky. And if he could get the queen out beyond the overlord and hit it from the other side, he can shoo it deeper into his base. And if Silky reacts slowly, because Silky's busy microing, if the queen gets this overlord, it's massive and he's going for that. Silky's already turned it around though. Great reaction by Silky. Really good details, not making the same mistakes as last game.
Well, the Lings will start to nibble up on this hatch, and we'll wait for the response from Silky. At some point, you will pull drones to try and defend against this, because the last thing you want is to have your hatchery going down. Here come the drones, and this is where MeomaikA will try to fight and get some damage done. Has the creep as the hatchery finishes the chase, and he very nearly gets that first drone. He will get one drone now, and then turns back onto the hatch. So far, so good. Hatch half HP, one drone down, a couple hurting, and then more Lings here to fight than never before.
You can't let the hatchery die in this scenario. You don't want to lose any drones either. So I think this is a good hold, honestly, by Silky. Could have gone a lot worse. Wait. Why? Whoa. Oh, I thought that was Meo building Zerglings. I was like, why is Meo still building Lings? That makes no sense. That's crazy. No. Just getting confused here, getting a bit loopy as we get a bit late in the night here in Australia. Extra queens on the way. He's droning. He's expanding. And Silky's still making Lings. What? Silky's just going to do a Ling flood all in.
He's just going to counter all in. He's like, you all in me, I all in you, buddy.
You brought this on yourself. You know, be careful you don't kick the wall too hard. It might come falling down on top of you, mate. That's, yeah, it's not a bad way to play because you don't really expect it in this scenario. But Silky, I think, had this plan from pretty quick, leaving guys on gas despite pulling so many drones to defend. Normally, you pull off gas completely in this scenario. And now pulls off only after the Ling speed, of course. So really well played. And hiding the Lings can be very good. Meo is making a Roach Horn, but it's not even in the wall off. Oh, it is, but he cancels it because it was misplaced. He's trying to wall off. Wait. Does he sense what's going on? How does he know what's going on? Meo somehow has sensed this.
Yeah, ooh. He's feeling it. He's got a bunch of his own Lings across the map, by the way. They're going to run into trouble as he's having to pull his drones around. So he loses all of his own Lings. Yeah, he needs to just wall off and get the queens in position. And the drones are going to move in, get the Evo chambers started. There's one we're waiting on the money.
No minerals? That's not a wall off. That's not a wall off, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh no, he needs more. Yeah, he needs to build roaches as well, because otherwise he's got no damage. 2 queens don't do a lot of damage. The droning has to start now for Silky, realizing, oh gosh, this didn't actually surprise you as much as I wanted it to. And 3 queens on the front. Meo holds. He's okay. Puts a queen in the wall. I think roaches can squeeze through that wall. It's an awkward diagonal, so I'm not 100% sure. But he's back to mining, takes a second gas, and Silky is going to have to take a third and macro on up. The surprise all-in does not pay off. I'm going to absolutely rewind this replay when we're over to figure out, because it was weird that Meo was going for like 3 drones, Roach Horn, and 2 more to build Evos before the Lings even ran in. So it felt like he sniffed something was going on. And I'm really curious what his instincts were telling him there. But great spidey senses from Meo and good frantic wall off to stop Silky's all in. I still think Silky's in a good spot, though. I think he's ahead after this, but only marginally.
Yeah, he's obviously going to be able to get a 3rd hatch down sooner. Meo will take a slightly sooner +1 missiles, getting his own drone count, going to saturate 2 bases, and will eventually look to get out to base number 3. Once he has the roaches, the main thing to note here is obviously no Ling speed from Silky, right? So as he has no Ling speed, he can't really do much to pressure a 3rd, so it shouldn't take too long for MeomaikA to push out to that 3rd base. The problem is he doesn't necessarily see that or realize that just yet, so the 7 roaches build up, those numbers start to increase, and we'll see what MeomaikA wants to do. Again, imagining he expands, but maybe there's some crazy world he wants to go get even more aggressive, although currently supply blocked.
Well, layers are for losers is not one thing we can tell. You know, kind of makes sense for Silky. You can't really afford the layer, right? You're taking that 3rd, you got a worker advantage, but you got to start making army, because Meo's just massing Roach on 35 drones. It's a 3 gas +1 Roach timing. This is one of the slowest, clunkiest attacks ever. Silky's sending an Overlord into sacrifice, and when he sees no lair, he's going to realize exactly what's up. Silky seeing this is huge. He's going to see it in a sec, and there we go, no lair. No more drones. Build a spine even, Silky. Just, if you survive, you're in a good spot. But you've just got to survive. MeomaikA's build has 0 flexibility. It is a slow, clunky blob of roaches that has to win the game or do massive damage. And I don't know. It feels like the army supply is a bit too close. There's the Lings ready for the run by as well. I think Silky's in a great spot. Like, such a good idea sending that slow Overlord in.
Yep. So Overlord's just going to keep moving about. Just going to see the Roaches of MeomaikA continue over that left-hand side. The Roaches are Silky setting up 2+1 missiles. It's not done just yet, so MeomaikA has an upgrade lead to start this fight. This is why, you know, a spine would have just been nice. Something a little extra defensively as MeomaikA gets a good start of this, but again, he's still got to reinforce from across the map. That ain't going to be easy, and now the +1 is about to be done from Silky.
And the numbers are a bit too good here. Silky
really are.
maybe should have given up the third. He fought a bit too far out, and this is actually a great fight. 14 roaches for 5 so far. That's the trading you can write home about. That is disgusting. The Lings as well, not even having, you know, the Ling speed here. Silky's kind of like, here's some slow Zerglings, but it's not that much. I mean, they made up a fair bit of the army supply, and I mean, he's still up 8 workers, so Silky still obviously like got better income. But the army is just so big for Meo. Do you ever catch up? It's going to be tough. Meo's got +1. You don't have a roach speed advantage or anything like that. Good concave management for Silky. I like that, coming in from multiple sides, but moving in is not good. You've got the lesser numbers, so you want to pull away and slow down the fight rather than move in and force the fight. So I think Meo has the numbers to just barely break through. His roaches are stuck behind each other, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, Silky might have the numbers. The positioning's really good, and Meo with some awkward focus fire there.
Yeah, his reinforcements are coming from a horrible direction as well, so he's going to lose the numbers advantage, and that means Silky is holding on. A few more roaches, a few more lings all gathering. We move over that left-hand side, ready to set up onto that third base. I do see this attack coming in again, but this time, again, the numbers are much more evened out. The Ravager getting caught in the front as well. MeomaikA has not been able to take good enough fights, and Silky is going to come through, is going to chase down, is going to push this back, and he has held as MeomaikA just really fumbled the engagements.
Yeah, definitely a few little bits of miss micro, and maybe he just should have kept pushing when he had the numbers advantage. And it's always hard to say because the units rally so slowly. That's what's weak about this push from Meo, is it reinforces so slowly, even on a small map like this. And with a bit of creep spread, he's going to pull back and drone up a little here, but 2 base against 3 base, that just gives Silky a monumental advantage, as those extra workers have already been working for so long. So, you know, Meo gets within 2 workers of his opponent, but 2 base versus 3. The mineral income difference is about 400. Mineral difference is what matters usually. You know, minerals is the main resource. It's what gives you lots of raw units. We don't have any weird like gas heavy units that are going to create some asymmetry, you know, some differences, some edges you can gain. Basically just about Ravagers dropping biles and good defensive positioning. But Meo doesn't really spread concaves. He kind of blobs his way in usually and likes to just focus on focus firing. We'll see if he can pull that off here. I feel like setting up a concave like Silky did is the secret to success, but he's not doing it. Like I said, he prefers to micro in a blob, and that comes with some advantages, but it means you can't use your defender's advantage to get more hits off while your opponent's pushing in, and it's actually Silky who's taking concave. You do have a creep advantage, though. I like the way Meo has the edge of the creep to himself. That gives him a lot more movement.
Yeah, you can kind of juke back and forth with this a little bit, but Silky just says, okay, well, that ain't working, but he's also like, well, I also have the extra third already up. My drone count's already decent. He's on a faster lair now as well, so Silky just recognizing that he can fall back. Doesn't need to go pushing in immediately right now. That's obviously going to be great for him.
Those 4 overlords in the middle are just asking for a bile. I think that's what Mapu was thinking looking at it. I know I was. I'm just like, oh, they were sitting there all clumped up. It's like, it just makes you want to get 4 Ravagers and go get some Overlord kills. A few Ravagers are morphing for Silky. I think he's thinking the same thing. He's trying to do it secretly so he can, you know, surprise with the first 4 Ravagers. And does come down, does Meo to start getting the first snipes. Meo's down 13 workers. Now, MeomaikA is probably the most comfortable player with a giant economic advantage of any pro player I've ever seen. Most players kind of go, oh gosh, I've really got to do something to get back in this. Meo will just casually sit on 20 workers less than his opponent for 5 minutes with 0 urgency. Most players feel urgency. MeomaikA wins sometimes because his opponent goes, well, you're so far behind, you need to make a play. And then when he doesn't make a play, they kind of mind game themselves and they go, oh, maybe he's taking a mutas or something, and they kind of overthink it and they build 20 drones, and he just is like, no, I have 170 supply of roaches with like +2 in roach speed, and he just kills them because he has so much more army than they expect, and all their money's invested in all these different tech trees and upgrades and bases that haven't actually given them extra army. So honestly, Silky's not making that mistake. No, it's just 13 worker advantage on all the upgrades, bigger army, bigger economy, and playing it very safe.
Yep. Now roach speed is
oh no. You're kidding
I
me.
was gonna say the quad kill. Just a single in the end. Would have been big. No, this is a. I like what you say about kind of like you mind game yourself because MeomaikA plays in such a weird way, and it's kind of true. MeomaikA's still here right now. Less drones just sitting. If you want the supply block, will continue to build itself into as much army as possible. Silky does have an army coming from the bottom side of this as well, and that's what he's going to be utilizing right now, coming in from that right-hand side. And that's just going to get him straight on top of this hatch, so you might not be breaking onto the army, but you are going to get rid of the hatchery, and Silky just continues in his head to put MeomaikA into a little bit of a checkmate.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Silky can trade. He's just trying to be real patient, like chip away and make sure his numbers advantage gets there. You know, okay, Spire, you've got no answer for that. A lot of Overlords going there. This is very sloppy from both players. Like the number of Overlords they've both lost without trying to dodge or put them on patrol paths, to me is a very uncharacteristic thing, because I've seen these guys dodge many corrosive biles, but I think this game just has them a bit nervous. Even with a slow Overlord, you can dodge those biles if you react quick enough, but at least some of them.
Yeah, usually at least some.
Nice.
So far not being quite so pretty as we do see Silky still trying to break up this ramp. MeomaikA back down to 2 bases. The only thing I will say is that MeomaikA, if he does max out, would have a massive army, and maybe somehow, some way could turn that into something.
It's time to trade for Silky, I think, and
Yeah.
because of that exact reason, his roaches on the right side need to come in. Silky's making the mistake of thinking the win condition is killing the third base. It's Meo. He doesn't care about a third base. You got to trade your army now because your money's just banking, and that's giving, like you said, it's time. Meo's finally building an army advantage. There's no reason why he should be getting an army advantage. I don't think Silky's going to lose this game, but it is a strategic mistake. When you have the money, you're maxed, your opponent isn't, you want to trade them. As long as it's not an awful fight, it's just like maybe slightly negative for you, it's good. You've got a bigger economy. As long as you don't let him hypermax, you know, right now there's an 18 army supply advantage. Maybe Meo gets a good fight. Tons of roaches are on the right side of the map, and Meo has a bigger army. Silky needs to make sure these roaches are actually part of this.
Yeah, you are going to take kind of 2 separate fights here. As MeomaikA has a decent split apart. Again, up a bit of army supply. Silky's getting mutas, by the way. Well, I guess that is kind of a checkmate, right? Because these mutas are going to be able to deal with this entire army. Even if MeomaikA comes across the map, this is looking as though it's going to be good enough. As this Roach Ravager runs right on through.
Yeah, Roach is going for the counterattack. Nice move there for Silky. And you know what? You got mutas to focus their Ravagers. You got your own Roach Ravager on the ground. Roach counterattack going to kill MeomaikA's Roach Horn and Evo Chamber wall off. This is a tough spot for Meo. You're on a timer. He does bile down the eggs, which is very cute, trying to stop any more mutas and roaches from popping. But the mutas just do not have an answer. Meo is making a good play of it, honestly. I like that he pounces really quickly on the Roach Ravager on the north, splits someone to the drones, but his own production is getting torn up as well.
Yep, it was indeed, and he was kind of out of options. Silky is able to close out the game, which we kind of knew was coming. We knew that this was very much so Silky's game, like you said. Very difficult to lose. MeomaikA definitely played kind of the best that he could. Like you say, he played the best he could to his own style, which is to sit there, not kind of worry about being down the base. And, you know, it was nearly kind of a bit of a funky situation, right? Where, like, maybe there would have been, like, if the mutas weren't quite ready, maybe MeomaikA could have had a chance. Obviously, in this case, not the case, and we are going to go through to game number 3, so... Third map coming up
here. If everyone's in the lobby and I'm holding it up, you just let me know. I just really wanted to check if he saw the Ling flood and how he knew really quickly. So if the players are ready to go, I'll hop over. But otherwise, I'm like, how did he know? And he really didn't see any sign of it, as far as I can tell, other than the fact that the Lings didn't go home. So I don't think he knew about the Ling flood. I think he just wanted to stop the Lings. He knew they were hiding for a run by, the ones that were on his side of the map. He said to himself, you know what? I'm going to go wall off here while my Lings go for their counterattack, and that way I'll block you with the Evo wall off, your 10 Lings on my side, do some damage to you. It was like a tricky little move. So I don't think he knew about the Ling flood, but then once his Lings got in, he saw, oh, you're massing Lings at home. Okay, now I know. And that's why he went for the wall off a bit later, because he was just a bit too slow the first time around to get it down.
Yep. Well, we have players readying up, so it looks as though we are going to be good to go. In a moment here, Game 3 of MeomaikA versus Silky. Get this one kicked off, just waiting for everyone to be ready to go.
A random guy has snuck in. Oh, we got a German caster in. Okay, no worries.
Yeah, we're
good. I do like that. Sometimes you're in a tournament game, and you're like, who's this guy? And some guy is just like, I'd like to make some gambling, please. I'm going to sneak into this lobby. You're like, no. But yeah, anyways, MeomaikA Silky on Golden Ore. It's a big map. We do expect probably the pool first pressure again from Meo. It's not a great 12 pool map. So Silky's job here, I think, is good overlord positioning like in that last game. Make sure you build a few Lings to defend the early 4 Zergling pressure. And I don't think the plan from game 1 was bad for Silky. It was just, you know, losing a few drones, mining time, and an overlord, and all your vision led to just mistakes stacking up. So go back to the game 1 game plan, but clean it up a little, improve the vision, and I think Silky has a pretty good chance of taking the 2-1 here.
Let's see what we get. It's Golden Aura. It is our final map of Asia. Let's see if we get a little bit of a banger here to round us out. As in the top left-hand corner, the blue Zerg, it is Silky.
And the bottom right side of that map, the red Zerg, the Chaos Master, the Zerg, Vietnamese Master of the Cheese. It is MeomaikA. Obviously, MeomaikA representing Team Gosu as well. He's been looking pretty damn good over the years. No, it's really fun seeing him and like Harstem go back and forth in Valencia a couple of years ago, and a lot of the Protoss players really struggle to get a handle on MeomaikA. He had a very fun series with Estrella in one of the Asian Weekly EPT Cups recently, and it is back to that pool first, which we expect on a bigger map. As we said, this is his standard opening. Hatchery into a pool into a gas. Silky going for the more traditional 16 hatchery into an 18 gas and a 17 pool. Not a bad way to play. Definitely on a bigger map like this. But as we said, Silky wants 2 overlords outside Meo's base and to build his own units to be ready for that 4 Zergling pressure that we're going to be expecting.
Yep. We'll get that set up. MeomaikA, like you said, doing what MeomaikA does. We'll see how well Silky prepares in comparison to previously. Let's just get this hatchery coming through. A couple drones on either side. Extract coming up as well.
No Zerglings from Meo as well.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I like this. I love it.
Just a queen. Mind game.
To be a successful player who does weird stuff, you need to like be like people like he always does this weird thing, and then right when the player's counting on it, you don't do it. You know, you got to have enough variance, and Meo's done that. He's changed his play up. He's like, no, I'm just droning. This is just a super economic pool first. That's fine. Technically, I think it puts you like half a drone behind against the hatch first build. Not a big deal at all, though. It's very similar in terms of where it ends up. You get your queen out earlier, your inject out earlier, and Silky is building 8 Lings. He's doing a Ling flood again. He's going to do a Bane bust, a 19 drone Bane bust. Because he hasn't pulled off gas, super quick Ling speed, went for the gas very early, and he's just going to drop a Baneling nest and go all in himself. Meo tends to go late Ling speed, late Roach Warren, and he only builds 2 queens lately. He used to build 4 queens and be rock solid against this. This time he is building 3, but he cancels one. He cancels one and goes for a third. Meo's playing greedy. Silky's build is going to be very hard for Meo to stop. He will not have any of the tools that a normal player would have in this scenario. It's going to be a vicious 19 drone Ling Bane timing. Even kills a drone to make the Baneling nest, so it's 18 drones in fact. This is a vicious attack.
Yep, it really is. It's going to be full commitment. It's going to be full send. Silky getting it ready. He's going to have a couple Lings already down the left side. Wants to morph the Banelings in from there ASAP. As we're just going to be seeing the Ling speed, Lings, and Bane nest all continuing up for the moment.
No Roach Warren in the wall, man. He can't even wall off emergency style, so Meo's in so much trouble. He's going to have just way less Lings and 2 queens. Like, man, if he wins this game, I'm giving Meo a medal for surviving a situation he has no business surviving. Instantly drops the spine, starts more Lings, gets queens on the ramp. I mean, these are the right things. Quick reaction. He might need to even hold position some drones in front of those queens. And those queens do need to get solid. He cancels his third hatch. Maybe another spine. He's got to start roaches. He's got a roach right now. 5 roaches already starting. Dude, quick response from Meo. Cancels one of the Banelings as well. I'm very impressed with his response so far. He really does not have the tools you want. Nice micro on the Lings. The Banelings chasing after them. Meo's buying himself as much time as possible, but he's got to cancel the spines. The queens are going down. The roaches are about to pop. Will they be ready, though? The Banelings going for that main mineral line. If those Banelings hit the mineral line, it's all over.
Yeah, they slipped through. I thought oh my goodness. We were going to see initially, I think a couple of those Banes just going to get denied, but we missed-targeted as MeomaikA. We get only 5 drones so far. Ling Flood continues to try and clean up these roaches at this point, so Silky's just going to send it. Obviously, if he does not end this here, and MeomaikA is going to get away with having Roach Ling on the map with pretty much a worker lead, then it is terrible for Silky. 2 bases each with MeomaikA, a few drones ahead, roaches ready and up and running is just such a big deal. And Silky realizing that he's going to start droning, and MeomaikA, for the moment, has held on.
No queens though, and that's huge. 4 drone advantage seems big, but look, Silky's already closed the gap. Silky's been injecting this whole time, and that's the thing. That's the real difference maker, is Silky hasn't missed injects. Silky's building a roach horn. I honestly think that's overly careful. I think Silky can drone up and take a third. The counterattack for Meo is going to be so delayed. It's going to take forever to get across this map. Attacking in here may seem like a crazy gamble, but if he can surround these roaches in small numbers, he'd be good. He's got to move his lings in, though. I think Silky needs to get the Baneling in and blow up those lings. If he can get a full surround, he can push through, but he's taking a while. He's got to blow up a Baneling. There we go. Finally, he gets the surround. A little bit slow on moving his units forward from Silky, and overall, a fantastic hold from Meo. That could have gone a lot worse for him. It's still rough. Morphing a Ravager there is huge. Silky's up 5 workers. Silky's in a great position right now. Meo's looking like he is about to drop this series. It'd be a rough way to start this group, man. He does not want to be losing this series and be down so far in the points, but Silky's just looking so on point. A sharp timing to take advantage of a greedy MeomaikA. I think he anticipated that Meo would shift gears and try to play against his image this game, and it's a punishing build for Silky that sets himself up very well now with a 5-worker advantage and roaches of his own.
Lings come across, he's going to go through and put some damage out. Just got ourselves the roaches there. The Ling pulls back up to the high ground for a couple of moments. And just have ourselves plenty of roaches coming up on either side for now. I mean, Silky just got himself that worker lead. His own switching to roaches has been very smooth as well, right? He's kept up the pressure, moved into his own roach production, and that's why I think MeomaikA will just struggle. It's still close enough, but definitely the edge to Silky still.
I like that Meo's closed the worker count. He's only down 1. He is obviously way down in the roaches right now. You know, 7, 8, including the Ravager, verse 13. So being down 5 roaches hurts. But the other thing is that Silky can make Banelings and Meo can't. A few Banelings could make a big difference when you're so reliant on Zerglings for like kind of tanking in your front line and surrounding and whatnot. Lings do try to counterattack, but there's a lot of Lings already ready for Silky. So even if you get a drone or 2, yeah, good choice to pull out for Meo. You don't want to throw these Lings away for free. He's got to use his defender's advantage as best he can. He's making mass Lings, not making many of his own roaches or Ravagers, and I think those are the more important unit. 3 Ravagers on the front for Silky. Silky wants his finishing blow. He's actually started droning behind it, but my gosh, what a commitment for Silky. Let's see if he can break through. Meo comes forward, very far forward. Meo not going too defensive. He's trying to just shove it. Does take some big biles across his front line, though. The Roach Ravager doing very well for Silky. Those 3 Ravagers in the back have just been splendid.
Yeah, the Ravager biles have been great. Every bile seems to be connected on some roaches, knocking HP off of them. Right now, so he has to stop it just for a second. He's got 5 more roaches on the way. And if he reinforces that with Lings as well, I feel like he's again still just in a position to keep on trading out and keep on pushing through. We do stop for a couple moments here, though, for a second.
Up 7 workers. I mean, Silky's just like, the thing is, this feels like such a gimmicky all-in situation to be in as Silky, and then you realize he's playing MeomaikA, and you're like, no, this is a perfect macro game. Like, you just have an army advantage, and then you just squeeze a few workers in once in a while, just occasionally squeeze a few drones in. Meo is so averse to building economy, and he's been behind for a long time in this game as well, so it's especially hard for him to do it, where he's just like, no, I'm just making roaches, Ravagers, Lings. He's trying to hide his numbers in the back. But I mean, the problem is your MeomaikA. You can't really hide the fact that you're going to go for an all-in, because when has MeomaikA ever built 10, 15, 20 drones in a row? Like, it's a given that maybe you're squeezing a few workers in his Meo, but you're never going to assume that Meo's building drones for minutes on end, which is why Silky's so cautious. Make an Evo, make 3 drones. You know, both players hunting each other's overlords as well. It feels like Silky has really struck the correct balance, and this is very much an anti-MeomaikA style that he's executing really well.
Alright, well, there's going to be, again, that worker lead from Silky. MeomaikA just building units, and Silky just saying, well, I'm establishing my advantage. I'm not giving up too much. I'm just doing it carefully. Like you say, it's just, like you say, it's patient, it's slow, but it's just what you need when you play against MeomaikA, because MeomaikA will just decide to, hey, I'm just sending it. I'm going to build a ton of units and go, go, go. Well, this is the way to kind of progress the game, just in case he doesn't, but also being safe enough to hold on against an attack. And as MeomaikA starts to come, I look at the numbers, and it honestly just seems fine across the board for Silky. He should have no issue here playing defensively.
Yeah, I mean, the biles, especially on the defense, are going to be huge. just such a big ball of roaches. Lings aren't really going to get a surface area on that. There's no +1 range, so it's not like the Lings are getting two-shot. And he's killed a lot of Overlords, says Mio. Like, Silky's really fallen to that, but look at that. Even Baneling Cocoons on the way, going to put a hard timer on this. Your Lings are going to be expiring once those Baneling Cocoons finish. Nice Biles from Mio will take out most of the Banes. The Lings have already done their job by that point. The Roach Ravager is actually getting a surprisingly decent angle, but look at the numbers in reserve for Silky. He's just got so much stuff. Dodges the Biles as well. Very good in and out, back and forth micro. Brave and brings a Bane and gets a few Lings and a bunch of the enemy Roaches. The Biles for Mio unable to land. He's just got no meat left. Great play by Silky.
Yeah, moved forward at the right time there as well to catch the Ravagers. Love that one little Bane. Knocked down a few reinforced Lings, so it kept the Roaches of MeomaikA in trouble. You know, the Lings, the Ravagers, the Roaches all continue to push through. We're going to see those Lings continue to chase. The Ravager will get caught. Another one here surrounded. So, yeah, the Lings absolutely putting work in. MeomaikA has just rebuilt Lings, but only Lings, and only Lings is not really going to be enough, as these Roaches will be able to hold their own. GG is called, and it is Silky to take